You are about to listen to an exclusive interview here on Maximum Threshold Radio at MaximumThreshold.net.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, this is Katon from HIRAX.
Katon, hey, did you just call us collect?
No, I would never do that.
Are you calling us from a correctional facility? It said please press 1 to talk to you.
Damn, we still got 2 hours, and Dom used his one funny joke.
Yeah, I know. It did sound like the inmate collection call when they do the inmate collection call.
That's funny as hell.
Oh, that was good, man. So what's going on, brother?
Well, just working on the new album, trying to get it finished, and also preparing for some concerts we've got coming up. We've got one in Los Angeles at this place called the Key Club, December 22nd, and then we're playing in Brazil the weekend before that on December 15th. So, trying to juggle both because we really need to get the new album done. It's close. We've recorded about half of it.
Nice.
But we kind of have to do it in sections because we're so busy, traveling, doing concerts, and then coming home and recording when we have the time.
Nice.
Are you thinking about getting a Brazilian wax while you're down in Brazil?
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Hey, I got a question. Have you been in any more movies, man, since last year? Since I saw you in it, Get Thrashed? Any more movies?
Not that I know of. I mean, there's always people filming stuff. Even with that movie Get Thrashed, I never really knew if it was going to come out because we had actually filmed that a few years even before that.
Yeah.
So there was so much red tape in doing that movie because there were so many bands involved.
Yeah.
Which also had a lot to do with record company people and just red tape. But they finally got through all that and released it, and it's actually been a blessing in disguise. I was actually surprised at how many people have seen that movie, So when we travel, there's always people coming up to me asking me about that movie.
That's it. Yeah, that was really cool. And when I was watching, I'm like, "There's Katon, man. Katon's in." When I start seeing a lot of classic metal stuff from the '80s, you have to see HIRAX in there, and you have to see your face, and you always throw your mug in there, along with your leather jacket and the spikes and all that, and the studs. You are like, when you think of early metal, you think Katon. That pops in my head.
Well, what was cool about it? It was, and it still is, but it was just awesome to be a part of that movement, because in the early '80s it was something brand new. A lot of people had never even heard that kind of music yet. So to see it blossom and become what it is now is mind blowing. I mean, I can't believe how, we didn't know what we were onto. We were just playing it because we loved it, and it's really nice to see that so many people have embraced this kind of metal.
Yeah. So yeah, I got.
It's like.
Oh, go on.
Go for it.
No, go on. Keep talking.
It's just a humbling thing. It's like you can't help but be humbled by people that have been changed by your music. When you travel to these other countries and you meet these people that are just so into metal and they tell you what your music means to them, it pretty much changes you as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have the same effect. People come up and tell us what Maximum Threshold means to them. And it's usually...
I think what it is you guys wreck people's minds with metal. So,
Well, I don't know about that, but we definitely influence them one way or the other.
There you go.
It's usually a bleeding anus.
Everything has its negativity. So, as long as we got you on the phone, we're going to ask you a serious music question about the band.
Okay.
Who in the band is most likely to end up in bed with a tranny?
Look at Dave stealing my jokes. Because Dave's looking for a date.
Question. That's a good question. It would be between our guitar player, Lance, because he's a maniac, and our drummer, Jorge, because he just loves women. So if it looks like a woman, even though it isn't, it would be one of those two guys would nail it.
So Dave was a little upset it wasn't you because he heard you were a colored fella, and he's never been with a colored metal dude before.
Well, I'm willing to learn.
Okay, so, hey, I got a question for you. You've been in the entertainment business for a long time. Have you ever had sex with Lisa Lampanelli?
Lisa Lampanelli. Is that the chick that, I'm trying to think.
That's that.
She's in the, I'm sure she's in the business, but
She's the queen of
Refresh my
mean.
memory.
She's the queen of mean. She's a fat comedian that only bangs black dudes.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She was on. I believe she was on Letterman the other night. Nah, she doesn't. She doesn't do it for me. I'd rather. You know what? I'd take Phyllis Diller over her any day.
And Phyllis is dead.
Yeah.
What
I
about
know.
Joan Rivers?
I know.
Would you rather bang a tranny, post-op tranny with big giant man hands, or Lisa Lampanelli?
Post-op tranny for sure.
All right,
Hands
my man.
down, including the hands.
I was gonna say Joan Rivers, but okay.
So, but seriously, because I know that you're a colored fella.
There you go.
Would that be man of color?
I'm not racist. I'm going to ask a serious question. I started out with a joke by saying that, but how did you come to be into metal? Because there's not a lot of colored musicians in metal, which I find odd because metal seems to be all encompassing. It's everything from like nerds to super cool kids. Everything. How come there aren't more?
I could name like 20.
20.
Yeah.
Does
well,
that make a
I
lot?
just-
A lot of. That's such a small percentage of metal.
That's right. You're actually right. That is a small percentage of the number of bands. You're correct.
Yeah, I can answer that question truthfully and honestly.
Well, don't just
It
lie and
actually-
make something up.
I believe it has a lot to do with society, actually.
Did you do it for the white women? Be honest.
No, even though I am married to a white woman, no, I don't do it for that. I do it strictly because I really do love the music, and for me, I not to get too deep on you, I think it saved my life because I was a pretty wild kid growing up, and I think I'd probably be in jail if it wasn't for being in the metal.
Well, look.
Because it gave me a place, it gave me, friends that, we basically had a lot in common because we listened to the same bands, whether it was Black Sabbath or Leonard Skinner or Thin Lizzy. We listened to a lot of the same music.
Yeah,
So
it's like glue that binds your like a whole element of society. But look at you getting into metal and getting white bitches. All right, my man. I'm not saying you're
hell
white.
yeah!
That's good for you. I'm thinking maybe I should get into this metal thing. Get some white
You
bitches.
can do it. If I can do
Michael's
it, anybody
Michael's a drummer in a metal band, but he is not white though. That's the thing.
can. Like I said, if I can do it, anybody can.
I want to go spread my Jewy goodness all over them white bitches.
He's our
You could do it.
he's our
I
national
know
hero.
you could do it.
Dominic's almost white.
Yeah,
He's Italian.
that and Indian. I'm half.
Yeah, why don't
I'm
you
a
open a
half-breed.
casino there?
I want to so
Tonto.
bad. You know I want to.
Come here, I got some fire water and a blanket
that's
for you.
all I need. And a little totem pole.
So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Which one of you guys is into Lisa Lampanelli?
Oh, dude, I would totally bang her. I would bang anything for money. Like enough money, dude. I'd bang my grandma. I don't care. She's been dead for a while.
Have you ever heard Lisa Lampanelli talk?
Yeah, I think she's funny but I think physically she's kind of disgusting. Even though she lost all that weight, she's got a pussy that looks like an old catcher's mitt. She's probably got baloney tits and nasty nipples, and her ass probably looks like somebody
Now-
walked on it with
now-
golf cleats.
Now I'm finding her attractive.
Oh, you're liking that. You'd love my mom.
Most people do.
Hi-yo.
Leave my mother out of this, and I'll leave this out of your mother. Ha cha 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 cha.
Kate, we were playing the hell out of your new one, the track that we were playing, and everyone's loving it. Everyone's asking like, "Who is this?" And everyone's getting real excited after we play it.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you guys for playing this kind of music because it's, there's not really that many metal outlets for, this kind of metal anymore. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with that one because I thought you guys were going to continue to just go off right now. But,
Well,
no,
Dave,
it's very appreciated, and we thank all the fans that have been enjoying it because it's a kind of a departure. It's like a new horizon for the band, and we've been working really hard on this new album. So I think if they like that track, they'll be really amazed when they hear the rest of the album. That's just been released recently, and it's on iTunes, and it's actually our biggest selling song at the moment.
Nice.
So we're pretty proud of it.
I think it actually is one of the best sounding ones, literally, that I've heard that you guys put out over the years.
Well, since we're
Yeah,
being
I mean,
serious,
that had a lot to do with the choice of producer, because we've been working with Bill Matoyer, and he goes way back with me. We used to work together back in the 80s when he was the main producer for Metal Blade Records, and he's done a lot of the early shit like Slayer, and just hit the list of the bands he's worked with it's amazing. It's a who's who of the early thrash metal bands. So having the opportunity to work with him again and speaking with him, and he knows what we're trying to do, and that track is a perfect example of just bringing the right people together. And I think, like I said, back to the album, when the album comes out, I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised because the rest of the tracks are just as strong. And even we just announced who the artist is. It's this guy named Philip Levere. And when people see the artwork for the album, it's going to be a nice product. Like, we're putting out something that's, we're putting a lot of time and effort and hard work into. And I'm really proud of all the guys in my band, Lance Harrison and Steve Harrison, his brother, and Jorge Icabalas and Mike Guerrero. We've just been practicing our asses off because, we want to make the fans proud. So, yeah, we're happy with the track, and we can't wait to do the rest of the album.
Okay, so, hey, real quick, since we're being serious, why don't you tell everybody where we can find your music and all the news about HIRAX?
Well, I mean, obviously there's so many websites nowadays, it's almost confusing, but the main website is HIRAX.org, and then there's also, the typical stuff like Facebook. We're on there, and even the trash, I call it the trash can of websites, but even like MySpace, and which I don't even know if anybody goes there anymore, but just all those networking websites, and like I said, the main site is the HIRAX.org.
I got a question.
.org. Are you guys a charitable?
Yeah, it's called Pockets.
Yeah, are you religion?
No. It's funny you asked that question because we originally, wanted to get .com, but this is back when people were buying all the domain names up. And so when we tried to get the name, these people tried to charge us like $50,000, which it's like, yeah, right.
We get the same thing for MaximumThreshold.com.
But if someone did that to your name illegally, you can take it back. Did you know that?
Well, after we just, we started our own thing, so we don't really give a shit. I mean, if people want to try pulling that kind of crap, it's like, whatever. You always got to figure out a way around it. I mean, just like if you look at the music business, with now that, a lot of record companies are going under and they're not doing as well as they used to because of the internet, you have to figure out a way to survive. And, a lot of bands are taking to the road and doing more touring and, starting their own, like we did. We started our own record label. So, whenever there's an obstacle in the way, you just got to figure out a way around it.
You're absolutely right, because you are right. The bands are touring more than they used to because that's how they're making their money. And as a fan who loves to see a live act, we appreciate that when they come around now, because before, when they counted on record sales to make money, they were lucky if they came out one time per record. Now it seems like bands are coming by at least twice per release, if not more.
Yeah, it's kind of mandatory because the record sales aren't like they used to be. That's because of, the illegal downloads, which, whatever, that's cool, but, so yeah, they're doing probably 2 more runs than usual. They'll come through, like, say, a place like Ohio or Texas or Los Angeles twice in 1 year, which is just it's the way to do it, and for a band like us, we love touring anyways. I mean, we don't just tour the U.S., we also tour outside. So, if you love the tour like we do, you go out there and promote the hell out of your band by touring, and that's actually how you're able to survive, Mm-hmm. So, but, I mean, even for us at the same time, we are still selling a very good amount of records. So, we're trying to do both. There's fans that still want the records. There are people that still go to the record stores. There's not maybe as many as there used to be in the heyday, but there's still people going to record stores, So that's why we continue to release new albums.
A lot of the things people don't realize now is, believe it or not, records themselves are making a comeback. A lot of people are putting out vinyl now. Even the people, the artists on their own dime just to have the vinyl, and the true diehard collectors are actually snapping that stuff up. If you go on eBay, and someone releasing a new vinyl or a reissue of a vinyl, they're flying off like crazy. Like you're talking $50 sometimes.
Yeah, because people.
Well,
I'll go ahead.
It makes sense, I'm glad you made that point. It makes sense though because there's never going to be anything cooler than looking at a 12-inch jacket, like a record jacket, because you can see the artwork way better. CDs actually suck for that. Like if you're into the art, then back especially in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid growing up, you would get like a new Alice Cooper record or a new Kiss record, and you'd stare at it for hours. Maybe you might be smoking or drinking something, but you would still be for hours staring at album covers, and you'd have your friends over and look at Judas Priest covers, and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things that we're getting back, because now kids can actually buy 12-inch vinyl again, so they get that experience. I feel sorry for people that have never had that experience of looking at a 12-inch record.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you think. That's the coolest thing in the world. Did you ever hear of something called vagina?
Well, the thing is you can do both. You can look at a 12-inch record and a vagina. It depends what you're into.
Yeah, I
just don't want a 12-inch vagina.
Well, you got to remember there are some people out there that like penises too. So
yeah,
it
like
depends
Dave.
what you're into.
It's okay, Dave.
Dave
Dave wants to know if he can.
Can I just freak you guys out?
No, Dave wants to know, because it's National Roofie Day, if you would slip him a roofie and then he can call you Mandingo.
That's awesome. Well, it depends like what Dave's really into besides the roofie and the.
Well, he wants to listen to Devo while you're doing it. Do you like Devo?
I love Devo.
What song would you fist him the hardest to, Devo?
It'd probably have to be something like, I don't know, Girl You Want, because if we're doing that, we might as well act like two girls.
Okay.
He's gonna scissor. Get a scissor with some dude.
You're gonna jam clams.
And I used to like HIRAX before this interview.
That would have to include some spooning as well.
Now you're just getting gay. Dude, you just crossed the line.
I thought the whole thing was gay. What's wrong with that?
It's only gay if you kiss or you push back.
Well, I was thinking we'd do both.
Maybe Rodrigo and Paul Stanley can join you too.
But hey, what we're talking about, back to the music, is just that music's making a comeback, especially metal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's awesome that records are back and bands are doing more concerts. I mean, that's why we still do a lot of concerts, and even for the final show of the year here in Los Angeles, playing at the Key Club is a big deal for us. So we're doing a special show there with some friends of ours, a band called Agent Steel, Masters of Metal, and there's going to be, going into the new year, 2013, I'm sure we'll be touring more than we ever have. So, the music business is back, but it's kind of like a struggle. You've got to be able to figure out ways around all the bullshit.
So, out of curiosity, when the band wasn't performing for a while, because you guys have been around forever, everybody had a break in their music career, just about. What did you do in the off season? Did you work a regular job? Did you have a business?
I did mainly exactly what you said. I had a record label. That's kind of how I learned more about doing a record label. And I also worked behind the scenes, like doing shows, concerts, promoting shows, and helping other bands. But what I quickly learned from that is I hated promoting shows, because you've got to be pretty cutthroat to do that kind of a business. Like, it's not a very cool business. I wouldn't want to be a promoter because I'm a little too honest for that shit, and it's just not my thing. But and also working with other musicians, I've found out that the only person you can really trust is yourself. So if you bet on yourself, you'll do better. If you bet on somebody else, you can't control them. You can't control musicians. You can only control yourself. So that's when I made the decision to come back and do HIRAX all over again, because I was just tired of working with other musicians that didn't take it as serious as I do.
Okay, here's a question from the chat room.
Okay.
Little Italian would like to know. She said she's been a long time listener of HIRAX. She wants to know what HIRAX means.
It's a great question.
I know what Pyrex means.
What'd you say?
I said I know what Pyrex means. But I'm not sure what HIRAX means.
Okay, well, there's actually, before it became HIRAX, the band, there was 2 earlier meanings, because you're going to love this, because this has been a pretty wild interview. So, basically, we were trying to figure out names for the band, and nobody was coming up with anything. We were rehearsing, and so we took a break because, it was getting frustrating. I went to the restroom, and while I was in the restroom, I noticed on the wall there was this old wallpaper that's still around. Like, I still get people sending me this wallpaper because they see it and they go, "Holy shit, is that where you got the name from?" But it was this wallpaper that had this character on it that said HIRAX, and it was 2 meanings. One is there's an animal from Africa. I don't know if it's south or what part of Africa it is, but it's related to the elephant, and it's called a hyrax, but it's spelt with a Y. And it's like a furry little beast that looks nothing like an elephant, but it's a distant cousin of the elephant. And then the other meaning was it's actually a repellent kills mosquitoes. It's like a bug spray. So I just liked the way it sounded, and I mentioned it to the rest of the band members, and they loved it. So we've been using that name ever since 1984.
Nice.
That's cool. That's cool. Dominic was going to have Dominic called his old band Placenta because it flowed nice.
But the really interesting story also that goes along with that is that we had a logo that I designed, and I wasn't, not an artist, but we had another friend of ours from a band called Hellhammer, also Celtic Frost, a guy named Tom G. Warrior, and he saw our logo and he said, "Dude, I want to design your logo for you. I could do something better." So a few days later in the mail, we got this logo, which has been the HIRAX logo ever since 1984. That was originally designed by Tom G. Warrior from Celtic Frost.
And he's such a cool guy too. He had that crazy ass hair, yeah, but he was a cool guy.
Yeah, the funny thing about him is I think he's misunderstood, because you always hear weird stories about him, but every experience I've ever had with him has been great. He's a great guy. Mm-hmm. I respect his music integrity, and he's just a really awesome person. But you always hear these different stories about him, but I choose not to believe any of it because I've met him on a few different occasions, and he's been a great musician.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the first rock stars I ever met, and there was a tour they did with Running Wild and Exciter. So that was
years ago.
Oh yeah, that was 84, I think it was. Yeah. They came through Cleveland. Yeah. I remember seeing that. So I got a picture taken with them and stuff.
Those were the mighty beginning of the days of metal.
Yes, it was. I got my ass beat up that night.
That was the fun part of the show.
It was.
Man.
People stage diving. You're all beat up.
And the next day, you could talk to all your friends about it.
That's right.
Yeah, back in the day, it was like cool to like stage dive and mosh and be in a pit with a bunch of sweaty dudes. As you get older, you're like, do I really want to go home smelling like another man's sweat and with a black eye? I'll just stand back here and talk to their girlfriends.
I think a big part of that, though, has to do with that. Also, as you get older, you can't do that shit anymore. You wish you could, but it's not that easy to do that after 35 or 40, So I think it changes. And also, most of the older people that go to concerts want to relax and check out the show. They're really there for the music, and they want to check out the concert, see what's going on with the band. And a lot of people at that age, they also drink, so they want to relax with their beer, which I understand that too. But I also can relate to the younger fans because I used to be them, so I understand what they're doing out there,
I'm such a vagina. I like to have them to have valet parking and chairs.
He likes to have his truck with no heat, valet parked.
That's fun.
And
You're making me laugh.
He takes out his Selena Gomez CD so nobody steals it when they valet park his car.
Or throws it away.
Oh.
You've been a great guest, though. You really have. And I want you to do a station promo for us, if you don't mind.
It'd be my pleasure. So you want me to say maximum threshold?
Yes.
Or maximum penis,
right
whatever
now.
you want. Whatever
or
you
you
want.
can say Lisa Lampanelli. You're listening to Lisa Lampanelli's vagina.
Now I'd like to get her in a headlock and give her some noogies, but how about I do a serious one for you guys?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Here we go. Hello, metalheads. This is Katon from HIRAX, and you are listening to the wildest and loudest metal on the net. This is Maximum Threshold Net. Play it loud, mothers.
Keaton, that was outstanding.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, when we come to Ohio, we're
Yeah.
going to have to hang out and drink some beers, all right?
Sounds good, Keaton.
Dom's ringing the ripple.
The ripple.
And one last thing, I just want to say thanks to you guys for the support. I don't know if we didn't piss off most of the listeners tonight, but it still was fun.
Oh, yeah.
And
They loved it.
Thanks for supporting metal. And I just want to one more time just say that to all the fans out in Los Angeles, we'll be at the Key Club December 22nd with Age and Steel, Masters of Metal. Come out and support the metal. We'll see you on Saturday night. Thanks for the support.
Sounds
Thanks for
good.
the music, Keaton.
All right, guys.
Have yourself a good one, man. Thanks again for calling in. Anytime, man. You know that.
Right on, guys. Well, I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you sometime soon. Probably after the new album comes out, okay?
Sounds good, man.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
Take care.
All right. See ya.
We'll be right back after this here at Maximum Threshold. Horns up, fists in the air.
Playing with evil is now what they never know. Fire
Thank you for listening to an exclusive interview here on Maximum Threshold Radio at MaximumThreshold.net.